Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
Yep, check out our podcast below in the description as well.
Also, it's kickoff week. So how about a Tito's kickoff, John? Doesn't that look good?
Yep, make a Tito's soda water and put a little OJ in there as well.
Biggest spreads of week one as we look at them right now. 3 teams are 7.5-point favorites. The Bucs are a 7.5-point favorite over the Cowboys on Thursday. The Rams are a 7.5-point favorite against the Bears on Sunday. And the 49ers are a 7.5-point favorite against the Lions, 10 a.m. on Fox on Sunday. So, there's a few different ways to look at this. I think one thing that's interesting about it is, as we record this Sunday, we did have the photo from like the charity event on Saturday. Didn't look like, as you pointed out to me, good scouting. Didn't see the splint on Trey Lance's finger at the party. Maybe he doesn't have the accessories.
No splint.
But there are a lot of other games on their schedule. Maybe by the middle of point, there's going to be a time when Trey Lance's health affects the spread. This week against the Lions is not one of those times, though. Healthy or not.
Yeah, I mean, they are, when you look through the schedule this week, them and the Rams, but the Bears to me are way better than the Lions, even if you don't view the Bears as that good. So, is there a game that's more you just kind of got to win? Like they're just like you can't.
Is it
honestly,
you're saying it's the biggest got to win? No, I'm with you.
I'd say the spread. If it was 10 and a half, I wouldn't say anything. They should beat the shit out of these guys. Now it's week one. You notice it a little with college football, even though it's hard to compare it to the NFL. Week ones do get weird, right? I mean, every team, you've waited all off season. You've been talking about the opponent in meetings for 6 months. It's a big freaking deal. You feel. I was just looking at some of the scores in college football, like Iowa State, who some people view as like a sleeper playoff team. Now, even if you think that's a little crazy, they're still viewed as a top big-time team. They were struggling with Northern Iowa. The Lions are going to go into that game. Every guy on their team is like, we're fucking in the NFL too. Now, by where it gets outrageous is by middle of the season when you're just like, well, we got 2 wins. It's week 10. But week one, the Jags won last year with the Colts, is a pretty good example because by the end of the season, the Colts were an 11-win team and just excellent, right? I mean, they were a powerhouse squad. If they played the Jags 10 times, they're winning 9.5 of them. But week ones can get weird just because the team throws a kitchen sink. You have new coordinators. You have a new head coach. Now, they got Jared Goff. I just have a hard time seeing the Niners not kicking their ass.
Yeah,
the Lions are just not good.
It's the biggest got-to-have-it game in the sense that it would be a bigger upset, I think, it'd be a bigger upset than Cowboys over Bucs. Not because,
yes.
I mean, the Bucs are, Super Bowl but the Cowboys, if Dak Prescott's throwing it to Amari Cooper and Ezekiel Elliott's running for a touchdown, you go, okay, right? Even the Bears over the Rams.
What if I told you Khalil Mack had 5 sacks or something?
It would.
Right?
I mean, it would hurt because it's like, wait, we just traded the immobile guy so we could get Stafford in here and be more explosive. So that one would hurt, and that one's on Sunday Night Football. But still, Lions are just the worst team of those 3: Cowboys, Bears, Lions. And it's against the guy. It just so happens that their quarterback is Jared Goff, who you've got his number. And Kyle Shanahan, you lose to Dan Campbell. You can't have that, right? So, and does that mean that it means one of two things: either you're not scoring, or this Lions offense is scoring against DeMeco Ryans in his debut as defensive coordinator. So it'd be the worst loss of week one, I think. I mean, the Chiefs losing to the Browns would obviously, okay, whatever. The Browns have one of the favorites for Super Bowl odds if you look at their odds.
They played them last year in the playoffs. As I remember, it kind of got close. They kind of hung in there toward the end of the game. The Browns,
Minnesota
the Browns like a 13-win team.
Minnesota just might not be good.
That'd be bad.
Yep. That won't be bad.
The difference, though, is the Niners are one of the betting favorites in the league to represent the NFC. They're tied with the best odds to win the division. You cannot lose to a team. You just can't lose to this team. You just can't, because I would say if you just look at it simply, the other teams in your division are playing the Lions, right? Because I think you play the AFC or the NFC North. I would expect all 4 NFC West teams to beat the Lions. So if any team that loses to the Lions, that's a swing game for all the other teams in the division. Would you agree with that statement?
Yep.
Like I can't. The Packers, who knows? That could be 2-2, right? Even the Bears. Like I bet the Bears get a win or two, right? But the Lions, I can't envision any of these teams losing the Lions. So to me, that's the way you look at it. That's the way I look at it.
The other thing is, like, even if Trey Lance is not your starting quarterback yet, and we'll see how much, if at all, he's going to play against the Lions, if you lose to them, it means that there's some it is just 1 week and weird things happen in the NFL, but you start questioning their roster, right? And it's not just that you acquired Trey Lance. Even when he's not on the field, the decision to acquire him is still part of the measure of your team, because to acquire him, you didn't draft somebody else at 12, and you traded away, obviously, 2 future first-round picks. So if we watch your team and say your roster's not good enough, if there are games where you watch the Niners and you go, the roster's not good enough, and we'll get to kind of their expectations here in a second, well, you gave up one of the measures, one of the ways that you improve your roster in order to get Trey Lance, right? The way you get the best players you can get, there's 2 ways. It's the draft and it's free agency. You gave up one of the ways. Hey, this video brought to you in part by DraftKings. Sign up with the promo code HAM right now and get in our league. Link is below.
Also, check out our friends at sleepnumber.com/ham. Biggest sale of the year this week, Labor Day, baby. Let's go.
So if your roster doesn't look good enough, that's a problem. That puts more pressure on Trey Lance to be good, because you drafted him because you believe he can elevate your roster. And now you are, in some ways, by acquiring him, you are, I don't want to say handicapping his future, but he's not going to have first rounders on his team in 2022 and 2023, right?
Yeah.
So it's like your roster, while it's good, and we think it's pretty good for a rookie especially, if you were to lose to the Lions, like, put it this way, can you lose to the Lions and the only thing we say after the game was everything was great except Garoppolo? Like, no. Jimmy Garoppolo can be average, and you should still win this game.
To me, the only way you could lose to the Lions in an acceptable manner would be like in early December and have an unreal record, and it's just like your shit the bed game of the year, right? Remember the Niners did the year they went to the Super Bowl, they lost to the Falcons. Remember that when Julio scored the game-winning touchdown? Ultimately, it didn't matter. And the Falcons were awful. Actually, I think that Falcons team got hot the second half of the season. It's like kept Dan Quinn for the next year, even though he ended up getting fired. But like it was a kick in the dick loss, but at the end of the day, it didn't. They were at the time. Remember, they had a little cushion, and that cushion got a little closer. But they were, they've started 8-0. That you want to avoid that loss at all times, but it does happen to a lot of teams all over the league, right? I think the Rams last year lost to the Jets, remember? Or maybe the Giants. I think it was the Giants, maybe the Jets. I don't know, but they lost to a really shitty team. You can have it late in the season if you are good. You cannot. In this division, and expect to win it and lose this game. Like ultimately, the Colts didn't win the division last year. The Titans did. And I bet they lost to a team that won 1 game.
That was their win.
1 game. To me, if the Jags had won 5, it'd be like, okay, well, that's not what. They went 1-15. If you lose the division and you lost to the 1-15 team and you're an 11-win team, that one's hard to stomach, isn't it?
Yeah. If you lose to the team that's drafting first the next round with their own pick.
Now, I don't think the Lions would be a 1-win team, but 3 wouldn't be crazy. I could see 3-14. I could see them really struggling. I could see them being bad and being okay with it. Like I think they kind of want to bottom out. They're almost throwing Jared Goff out there to the Wolves. Like, have at it, kid.
Right. We're not going to draft a quarterback and put him on this team right now. They go
now,
Lions schedule.
He's getting paid a lot of money.
What? How? Were the Lions good last year and I missed it? Listen to their schedule. Niners, Packers, obviously, Ravens, Bears, Vikings, Bengals, okay, Rams, Eagles, Steelers, Browns, Bears, Vikings, Broncos, Cardinals, Falcons, Seahawks, Packers.
Could they win 2 games, honestly? I mean, it kind of feels that way just hearing you say that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Minnesota.
Guy, you get your ass kicked so bad. Like, you're not just when you're just getting your ass kicked every week, all of a sudden you're just going to beat the Bengals. Like, who knows, right? You might just be tired. He might just be bruised and battered. You
Man.
know? Is Jared Goff going to start all 17 games for these guys?
Who else is on the? Who else is there? Who's their backup quarterback?
I don't know. He has been pretty durable. Like I don't think he's. He had that thumb injury is the only major injury I can think of him having really in his career. But that's got to be
David Blau.
Well, good luck, buddy.
Blau. All right. Well, all right. So we usually like to build it up as the week goes along. This week, part of the point of this conversation. This week, our lock of the week. This is not the official pick. It's gonna be hard for it not to be Niners. The only reason, the thing when you said earlier, wait until the last minute to make a pick. It's like, well, was that line gonna be 9 by kickoff?
Honestly, I'd probably like the Niners any number under like 14. I know week 1's a little weird, but that line would have to be pretty big for me to get off the scent when I just look at the slate.
I know. It's hard to pick other games.
Like there's not like a Chiefs Bengals, right? There's not that game. The Texans, right? Colts or something where you're just like, okay, I'll hammer this at 10.
As Solomon Jets on YouTube says, somebody's got to end the season with 2 wins. Why not the Lions?
I know.